In the last 2 years, we've enabled over 2 million people to make the switch from kerosene to clean solar energy. And in the next 5 years, we want to make solar energy and other life-changing products accessible to over 100 million people.
I remember going to Kenya, traveling to a village, and I walked into a home where this little boy was doing his homework with proper light. It makes it all worth it.
If I want a bright light, I switch it thrice, then I will have the bright light.
At the end of the day, what we're doing is increasing financial inclusion. It's enabling access for everyone, no matter where you live or where you were born.
The opportunity to explore what you care about, what you are good at. It's incredible how many important choices you end up making when you're in high school. Not that anything is ever locked in, but you know, the choices you make, they impact the rest of your life, and it's important to have opportunities to explore and know what choices you should make to the extent you can. I remember the seal of the school above, I guess it was the Art Center with Persevere at the top. And I think that's good life advice in almost any context, but especially entrepreneurship.
I think what made PCDS so special was that you were able to try so many different things. There were so many different types of opportunities that you had, so many different, like so much variety in the subject that you could take. It created such a foundation in helping me understand what I excelled at, what I liked, what I didn't like. It helped, you know, craft what I studied in college, and then how I, you know, paved my future career. Absolutely most proud of just the scale that we've reached, impacting over 20 million people to date. And I'm proud of our ability to think big, even if it seems crazy. When we started the company, we were thinking about how do we help families switch away from kerosene onto clean, reliable solar energy. And once we got that down, and once we started scaling that model, we allowed ourselves to think even bigger and think about, okay, now that we've helped families switch away from kerosene onto solar, how can we help them, you know, build up a credit history and get access to other life-changing products like clean cooking appliances, refrigerators, internet-connected devices such as smartphones, and really just thought about, you know, deepening the impact to the users even beyond energy access.
On behalf of all of us here at Phoenix Country Day, I am delighted to recognize you as our 2022 Outstanding Alumni of the Year. Your contributions to your local communities, but also to the world as a whole, have been simply extraordinary. Over the years, this award has been conferred on a really impressive list of graduates, and your names are really deserving additions. So bravo, we salute you, and go Eagles.
Each year, it is our honor to celebrate the achievements of our remarkable alumni. In fact, I am here in front of an original piece of art created by 2017's Outstanding Alum of the Year, Stanley Castleman. This year, we pass the torch on to Brian Silverthorne and Leslie Marincola.
Nothing is better for a retired teacher than to learn what honors have come and what my former students have been up to. So I was very excited when I found out that Brian and Leslie had founded a company together which is doing really good work in far places of the earth where it is very desperately needed. So I'm very proud to know them and to have played whatever tiny small part I did in their journeys. What I remember about both of them was how intelligent they were, how disciplined and motivated, and of course, being near and dear to an English teacher's heart, what wonderful writers they were while they were in high school.
Brian, I remember very well your amazing essay on the Book of Job and my astonishment that a first semester ninth grader could write with such depth of thought and gorgeous language. Leslie, you were a star, whether you were earning perfect scores and smiley faces on those daily reading and vocab quizzes, or dazzling me with your elegant prose. I have two other favorite Silverthorne memories from outside of English class. One is your senior speech, Brian, which I still have, your philosophical musings on the very nature of human thought and the way in which technology, and more specifically artificial intelligence, will advance our human understanding of ourselves. The other is of you, Leslie, and your wonderful friends in lacrosse attire. You were a dedicated and enthusiastic Eagle, playing on our women's lacrosse team and our women's soccer team for 4 years.
I'm Eric Neufer. I've worked here 32 years in a variety of posts. I've been IT director, taught computer science. Now I'm working on the school's data systems. Our website at the time Brian was here, at the very end of the 90s, was just pages of text and photos, and he came to me with this new technology he'd been exploring that would make it more dynamic. As longtime or retired middle school faculty may remember, this was the website that provided the blog that became known as the Homework Board, which began a whole new way of communicating with students. This name stuck even as we later moved on to newer technologies. Thinking about this time has prompted many fond memories. Brian was not only a student, he was a colleague, and it makes total sense to me that he has gone on to do great things.
PCDS certainly prepared them for college. There's no doubt about that. I think college was almost easy once they started. I think it gave them a lifetime love of learning and a sense that they could accomplish whatever they wanted to accomplish. Give them confidence.
Well, Ngaza got its roots at Stanford. Leslie took a course called Engineering for Extreme Affordability. And as a result of a class project, they were decided to do an improved solar system. And they were thinking where would this be appropriate? So they basically thought, third world, Africa in particular, where they could provide such a device and make an impact.
I can't say enough times how PCDS allowed independence as well as collaboration, and allowed them to grow and to respect their intelligence, to allow that to develop in their own special ways, because they're both very different people, but then they're both committed, kind, principled, intelligent, And PCDS allowed all of that as individuals to shine.
My name is Elizabeth Reard Oviedo, and I am a member of the class of 2004, and along with Leslie was a lifer. So many wonderful memories of Leslie from many years at PCDS. I think my earliest memory of Leslie was when she taught me how to do subtraction in 2nd grade. We were doing our times tests, and Leslie was always the first one done. And when you were done with your times test, you got to go over to a center activity and play with the tangrams. And so one day, Leslie, of course, was the first one done, and I finally made it over to the table, and I sat down next to her and said, "Leslie, how do you do your times test so fast?" And she said, "Oh, it's easy. You just start at the smaller number and count up to the bigger number and keep track of how many you count." And that's how I learned how to do mental math subtraction, and it has proved to be a very useful lifelong skill, and I have Leslie, the 2nd grade version of her, to thank. When I think of Leslie in high school, she was in many ways the perfect high schooler, the perfect upper schooler. She was very academically talented. She was athletic. She was my only friend who had a job. She worked at Vincent's Market on Saturdays on Camelback. And so when I think of our senior year yearbook, she's here front and center winning the state championship for lacrosse. And so it's not surprising that the model high schooler who I admired so much is now a wonderful alumna of PCDS and being recognized here today.
Leslie, just so proud of you. Congratulations. And it's so wonderful to see you being rewarded for all of not just your work and your creativity and your innovation, and all that you've accomplished, but for your kindness. And you've been that way since the very beginning. And I'm just so happy to be able to celebrate you and remember what a wonderful friend you are and have been for a long time.
I remember lots of things about Brian. Brian was always the smartest person in the room and the quietest person in the room. So he was the person you wanted to wait and hear what he thought, what he knew, what he remembered, especially on anything science or tech related, anything I didn't understand. Going, way back down into, middle school, elementary school, you could always tell that this was the trajectory that he was going to go on and he was going to change the world.
What I always admired about Brian was that, from the beginning, he was always very comfortable, doing whatever he wanted to do or what he thought was sort of the right thing to do. And that was reflected in the books that he read and, the comments that he chose to make in class. Like Ashley said, it was clear he was always the most gifted intellectually, but also just the most thoughtful, and that he had a really, really deep perception. He also had less than zero ego. He still does. He could have a little more ego sometimes, in my opinion, because he's done really incredible things, but he's just the nicest, most low-key, self-effacing guy. And yeah, it was always clear that he was going to do really cool things.
She is extremely smart. She's extremely poised. I'm so impressed with the fact that, I can actually say I had a classmate that was Forbes 30 under 30. So that is amazing to me and an amazing accomplishment.
I've admired your brilliance, fortitude, and general excellence for years. It's a delight to see you celebrated and honored by those who've known you longer, too.
Congratulations, Brian and Leslie.
We, as the Alumni Board, would like to extend a sincere congratulations on being selected as 2022's Outstanding Alumni of the Year. Congratulations, Brian and Leslie.
On behalf of all of the lifers,
from the class of 2001.
Congratulations, Brian.
On behalf of
all of the lifers,
from the class of 2004.
Congratulations, Leslie.
Congratulations, Mommy, we are proud.
You were both outstanding PCDS students, and now you're outstanding alums. I wish you all the best as you continue, if I may borrow words from Tennyson's Ulysses, to shine in use and carry on your work of noble note. Bye-bye.